Howdy everyone, my name is skpacman, and this is a game that is for my LGBTQ friends that either you're learning about the different types of gendering that there is, or you're exploring your own gender, or you're just curious what the definitions are. This game explores all those things in an interesting and very open way. So if you're part of the LGBTQ community, if you identify as one of these genders or one of the sexualities that put you in the LGBTQ, I welcome you here. I love you guys. And let's go explore and learn about genders. What's your gender? Me am blue. Whoa. Ah! Drop me out. Okay. Interesting start to the game. We're gonna follow the arrow. Cisgender.
Do I fit the category other people assigned me?
So, cisgender is a term for people whose gender identity matches the sex they're assigned at birth. This is an antonym to transgender and trans. The term is derived from the Latin prefix cis, meaning on this side of. The dichotomy of the terms cis and trans is also used in chemistry. So I identify as cisgender. That means I was born as a male, I identify as a male. Let's see where the arrow takes us. Cisgender again. So okay, so that's an interesting analogy. So if you're following societal norms by following the arrows, you are cisgender. But if you diverge from that, if you're not going to do that, I turn left away from the arrow, then you're trans.
How do I know what my gender is?
Good question. Trans is an umbrella term for anyone whose gender does not fully match the sex they were assigned at birth. It is the antonym to cis. Today, the term is most commonly used as an adjective, but it can also be used as a part of a compound noun that describes a given identity. So you were born as a male, but you do not identify as one. That's what that is. Or you were born a woman and don't identify as a woman. That's what that is. Sing. What is that? Sing. Passing describes a phenomena where a trans person is reading as either cis, their correct gender, and or the gender they want to be perceived as, by an outside party. Being able to pass is often seen as a privilege. Historically, the term has been used for BIPOC who were white passing and thus able to escape some of the legal and social conventions of racial segregation and discrimination. That's a heavy topic as well. So the idea of the social injustice, racial injustice, what the heck is this?
Am I still the same person that I was 2 years ago?
The racial discrimination and the racial inequality in our country and this world is stupid. And I don't like the systemic racism that pervades all through our government, through society in general. It's all stuff that needs to be fixed. And games like this really put stuff in perspective for you. But gender fluid, just like these pillars are fluid, gender fluid means that you identify as both masculine and feminine, and depending on your mood for the day or your anything like that, you're fluid. Gender fluid describes as certain identities under the multi-gender, non-binary, and transgender umbrellas. Gender fluid individuals have gender identities that change over time. They could be multiple genders at once, and and then switch to none at all, or move between single gender identities or for some other combination therein. For some gender fluid people, these changes happen as often as several times a day, for others monthly or less often. And that's cool. What is this one? Queer! That is an umbrella term, and I love it. Originally a slur against members of the LGBTQIA community, the term queer was reclaimed in the 1980s and today is a widely used umbrella term describing any person who isn't straight or cis and dyad. While some members of these communities still reject the term due to its past, it has become one of the more widely used umbrella terms and has spawned its own field of political and academic theory, queer theories and studies. Let's see. Oh, do I want to go up the tube? Ooh, demisexual. Let's do the tube first. This is trippy as hell, by the way. All I'm doing is walking forward. I'm not turning or anything. Oh, it just goes back to queer. Okay. That's cool. Drag. Okay.
What does it mean to feel good with certain clothes? In what kind of situation?
Drag refers to a performance of masculinity, femininity, or other forms of gender expression. Drag queen is someone who performs femininity, and a drag king is someone who performs masculinity. The term may be used as a noun, as in the expression in drag, or as an adjective, as in a drag show. The use of drag in this sense appeared in print as early as 1870. Now, drag artists, and I do call them artists because they're fucking artists, they are...
Do my behaviors fit into gender stereotypes? Am I gender non-conforming if they don't?
Drag is an art, and you can't convince me otherwise. Okay, so this is where we are, and that's where we just came from. Okay, so this is a map of the whole place. Interesting. So all the dark gray boxes we've been to, all the light gray boxes we haven't. And we've already been to a shit ton of places. So we just came from drag. Let's go to gender void. It's dark. I think it's dark on purpose because, it's void. Term gender void describes an identity that is defined by the absence of gender. Falls under the agender umbrella. So a person who is gender void does not identify as any gender at all. They don't want to be perceived as a gender. And that's cool shit. Let's go to they, them first. Ooh. Pronouns. Nice. Don't prefer a pronoun, or you prefer a pronoun.
So I can choose my pronouns myself. I wonder what that would feel like.
I identify as he, him.
He walks through the door.
But there are others. There's plenty of others. Like Z.
Z walks through the door.
E.
E walks through the door.
A.
A walks through the door.
She.
She walks through the door.
And these are all valid pronouns to use for yourself or other people who identify as these.
Z walks through the door. One walks through the door.
They.
They walk through the door.
Me.
Ni walks through the door. A person walks through the door.
So no pronoun. You identify the person because they are a person. You humanize them without gendering, and that's cool. So there's this thing, and then there's this thing, right? This is the map room here. Okay, so we have that one or that one. Let's go... Is that left? Yeah, that's this guy. Let's go this way first and see what goes on. Ooh. Oh, it's circular. We're going down. Okay. Oh, hi. Ooh, non-binary. I have a lot of non-binary friends. No-binny? Non-binary. Why no bin? Non-binary is a term that refers to people whose gender is not completely and exclusively male or female. They can identify with not having a gender at all, with both gender binaries, with a third identity or identity which can change over time. Non-binary people fall under the transgender umbrella term, and non-binary is an umbrella term itself, although some people use it to describe their specific gender identity. Not to be confused with void, because they still want to be perceived as some kind of presented gender sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. Okay, going up, I guess. Oh, hi, stairs. 3. Let's go down. Cool. Let's go this way. Actually, no. Let's go down first. I changed my mind. What's down here? Femme. Femme is a term that refers to a queer person whose gender expression is considered to be feminine. Femme was originally used to distinguish feminine, lesbian, and bisexual women from butch women, and is still one of the main uses of the term. It is common for trans and non-binary individuals to use the term to refer to their identity or expression, even if they do not identify as lesbian or bisexual woman. So, slight tweak for the developer that wrote this. Butch isn't really a term that's used much anymore. It's either femme or masculine. Femme or mask. Just a quick criticism about that, if anybody wants to change that. Not many people go by butch because it got a negative connotation after a while. Anyway, that's a cool tree. I like the purple. That's a nice shade of purple. What is this? Dia?
Everyone should be able to make their own decisions concerning their body.
Yes. Let's go back to the other side and do Dia. An intersex person has sex characteristics, sexual anatomy, reproductive organs, and or chromosome patterns that do not fit typical definition of male or female. This may be apparent at birth or become so later in life. Puberty, intersex people, just like dyadic people, may identify with any sexual orientation or gender identity. Dyadic is a word used to refer to people who are not intersex. Dyadic people would be born with sex characteristics would be categorized into one of the binary genders. Okay. Then, okay, it's the same both directions. Oh, so this is the top of the thing area. Okay. It's this way. Demi. Demisexual.
Are there parts of my identity that always stay the same?
Demi-gender, not demisexual, demi-gender, half-gender, is an umbrella term for non-binary gender identities that have a partial connection to a certain gender. So, if they're non-binary or gender fluid or something, but they regularly and consistently identify as one of the regular binaries, then you would go femme demi-gender or masculine demi-gender. So, like Layla said in chat here, I have a gender fluid cousin who mostly identifies as female. That would be femme demi-gender. Moving. Oh, that's the top of queer. Interesting. So, which way was the collapse that way. Okay, where haven't we gone yet? Do I have to go through that corkscrew thing again? I probably do. The one that's beyond drag. Yeah, because we just did this one. That's the exit. I don't leave yet. Isn't there beyond this that section that has the... Yeah, right here. Let's take this corkscrew again and see where it goes. Layla says, I'm in awe at how much you know and are able to further break it down for us. I have a lot of friends who are LGBT and identify as a large number of all of these. So I am happy to be able to break it down for people. It's not like it's privileged information or anything like that. It's just, yeah, I know a lot about it. Is that the same? I feel like it's the same room. I think it is. Okay. How do I get there is the question. Anyway, here's the other side of Demi. But the music has stopped, so I think I'm just taking too long. Oh, okay, I see where I need to go. We already did that. I think I went through this backwards. Gender euphoria, sometimes called gender congruence, is the antonym to gender dysphoria. It describes the phenomenon of a person experiencing joy due to one or multiple aspects of their gender identity or expression, pronouns, body features, labels, etc.
Which situations make me feel euphoric about myself?
And dysphoria, which you can barely read, refers to negative feelings arising from some aspect of your gender experience. Examples include body dysphoria, when caused by aspects of one's own body, as well as being misgendered. Gender dysphoria is experienced by many, but not all trans people. The term can also be used diagnostically, referring to persistent and clinically significant discomfort with an assigned gender. A lot of people have gender dysphoria about a lot of things. So it's not a never-ending staircase, but I'd like to climb it and see where it goes.
Sometimes I think that the fights that have already been fought decades ago just keep repeating.
They do. They absolutely do. Oh, here's the trans. Okay. There's the dysphoria. Pronouns. Oh, man. Okay. And so there's another room off of here that I haven't been to yet. Okay, so there's something else here that we're missing. Trans. Some South Asian countries, including India, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, the Hijra are trans or intersex people with a distinct and established gender identity. This is very ancient tradition or gender role that escapes a rigid gender binary, sometimes called third gender. The term is at times used to describe people who have other gender identities that are less well known in a Western discourse. In some such cases, the term is offensive. Interesting. So this is a standalone room. This isn't something that I would have found to just walk around. Okay. Two-spirit.
Is it a Western norm of gender that is repressing all other ideas and constructs?
So this is a Native American thing that I recently learned of. I didn't know it was a thing. Two-spirit is a modern umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people in their communities who fulfill a traditional third gender or other gender variant, ceremonial and social role in their culture. So it's not just an identity of one direction or another, masculine or femme. It is a literal social role in their community. The term Two-Spirit was created in 1990 at the Indigenous Lesbian and Gay International Gathering in Winnipeg, and specifically chosen to distinguish and distance Native American First Nations people from their non-Native peoples. So, if you're Native American, this is something very specific to you. Anything else? Any other rooms that I missed? No, there's the dysmorphia, or the dysphoria. Dysmorphia is something different. Trans passing, we already did those. So I'm going to drop down again and see if we can get back to that map room. So here's pronouns. And there's the map. So that should all be done, right? That's all of them in the game. Except for this. What is this? I don't know what this is. Unless that's the exit. Hang on. Let me double check that that's the exit. Yeah, I didn't know that they counted that as a room. So the whole map is done. We're going to go exit the game and look at the credits so that these developers and artists get credit for this, because this is amazing. Yes. So that is What's My Gender? A game about exploring gender identities and how they relate to people and their definitions. Super fun, great game, very confusing map, but it was great. The 3D art, the programming, all that stuff was amazing. The voice acting was great. Thank you guys for sitting around for this. I appreciate you guys sitting through this and listening to my inane babble. Original release of the game was created in under 36 hours as part of Binary and Beyond theme game jam. That's cool that this was made for a game jam. So if you are on the LGBTQ spectrum, anywhere on there, whatever your gender, your sexuality, your identity is, just know that you're welcome here, and I appreciate you. From a cisgendered bisexual man to the rest of my LGBTQ friends, thank you, and continue to be strong, and hopefully we can educate society to be more accepting and more loving of our LGBTQ friends. So we're going to end the video there. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share it with a friend. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you